I will call the meeting to order then, and we will begin with the land acknowledgement statement. On Tuesday, January 28th, 2026, we acknowledge that this sacred land on which Smiths Falls is now located has been a site of human activity for over 10,000 years and is rich in Indigenous history. This land is the ancestral and unceded territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe Nation. We are grateful to the Algonquin ancestors who cared for the land and water in order that we might meet here today. We are also grateful to the Algonquin people for their contribution in the making of the Rideau Canal, which runs through Smiths Falls. We are mindful of broken covenants and the need to reconcile with all our relations. Together, may we care for this land and each other, drawing on the strength of our mutual history of nation building through peace and friendship, being mindful of generations to come. Okay, first item is the approval of the agenda. Would someone move that we adopt the agenda? Jonathan, and class is seconding. And adoption of the minutes now from Tuesday, December 9th, which were circulated by Marie. Can we have a motion to approve the minutes, class, and a seconder? Jonathan, thank you. I assume we're all in favor. Disclosure of monetary interest, anyone? No? All right, priority issues. We're having this special meeting today mainly because we want to discuss a motion regarding the Heritage Conservation District Plan. So I will suggest a motion, and then I'll ask for someone to move it and for someone to second it. The motion is that the Municipal Heritage Committee recommends that Council accept the Heritage Conservation District Plan dated January the 8th, 2026. So could we have that moved? Klaus moves it, and a seconder? Jonathan? Okay, thank you. So discussion.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
Yep.
I was going to say we've gone over it several times. If you don't have anything else.
So what I guess what I'd say, Chris may speak to a handful of things that we were looking for to be in this draft plan, but the plan is helpful because it's going to, as it stands, it'll definitely bring Smiths Falls ahead to where we see a lot of other towns that we like to compare ourselves to, or the feeling of spots that I think Smiths Falls is shooting for, places like Prince Edward County. We always think about the heritage that exists in Perth and the heritage that lacks in Smiths Falls. Mm-hmm. Same thing in Mississippi Mills, around Almont. So this is going to help to do a lot of that. Some of the things I was advocating for in the past few weeks have been to make the plan a little bit more prescriptive, because I think the mandate of this committee and the mandate of the individuals on it is to help Heritage continue to move forward and to, I guess, maintain the vision that we have for Smiths Falls. So I hope that we're able to do that with the facade development and with following some of the rules that are in here, and that building owners are able to understand and apply what's in here, and that council is also in favor of it and is going to help the business owners use this tool effectively. So it's a young document, I guess, and so we'll see how it goes moving forward.
Thanks, Jonathan. Chris, would you like to comment?
Sure. So I'm sure if you've had a chance to watch the last council meeting where it came through, there was still a fair number of comments that I brought forward that I think are representative of a majority of the committee. Unfortunately, there wasn't the political capital to get a lot of those amendments made. I think this version reflects a lot of improvements, and it's been a good evolution from start to finish. I think lots of lessons learned of going through the process for the first time. It's if we could go back 2 years from now, there's a lot of things in my head that I'd be thinking about, but that's like anything you do for the first time. So I guess one question I had that we've asked is what's the amendment process for an HCD, and if this gets passed, how what's it going to look like, I guess, in practice, and in 5 years, or what's the review process like?
Marie?
So generally, as I understand it, documents and policies like this for the first time, usually you put them in play for a year or two, and then you keep a running track as staff. We keep a running track of comments, any tweaks that need to be made. And then doing the actual update is very similar to the CIP update. So public meeting, lots of discussion and consultation, and then just the notice of the paper, going to council with those updates. It's very similar to the CIP.
Sounds good. I guess I'll go over a couple of my outstanding comments then, because it's the last chance to do it, and hopefully it. Sorry, is the sound really bad in the room there, or is it just on my end?
We can hear you fine.
You're fine. You're good.
Okay, I'm getting an echo here, but I'll just keep talking then if it's not happening there. I think there's still in the section 2.2.2, the statement of cultural heritage value, there's a paragraph that talks about the start of the war bringing difficult economic conditions to Smith Falls, but like my understanding, it's more after the First World War, when the soldiers returned and immigration was happening, and there wasn't as many jobs because the factories weren't pumping stuff out at the same rate. That's when it happened. Then it says in the several decades after the 40s and 50s, many industries closed, but as we know, that's when Hershey's opened, and there was still a good industrial base into the 60s and 70s. It was more the globalization and free trade and those kind of things that shifted manufacturing offshore, and it doesn't really reflect that. So in that section, then going through, it was brought up in the last committee of the whole meeting that there's still a lot of provisions for painting brick, and the problems that are associated with, even though it might look better to repaint the brick, it's still damaging the brick, and it's causing even worse failure to facades. But unfortunately, the council doesn't feel strongly about that, or doesn't share those concerns. When we look at the consultation with the DBA, there was a really strong, like over and over again, we heard property standards. And there was a section of guidelines that say that if you've got rotting wood, you need to replace it. If you've got peeling paint, you need to repaint it. If you've got failing facade features, you need to update them. And unfortunately, council right now doesn't share that. That they prefer that as a guideline, not a policy. So that's how it stands. When we go through a lot of stuff with signage and window wraps, Christian was on the call with us for that meeting, and he said that the best way to deal with that is through the design guidelines and through the signage bylaw. So we're going to be looking forward to getting updates on those bylaws that to bring them into line with the HCD. But the way it's been explained is that this isn't the place to have that policy spelled out. So that'll be continuing. We've still got minor stuff like in 4.3.1.4. It references vinyl awnings, which I think with the design guidelines and different things we've been trying to get rid of. But but that's how it's in there. When we've got, sorry, I'm just scrolling through my comments here. And then I guess the last one was there's a discrepancy in the conditions for a non-contributing addition to a building and a non-contributing new development. So for a new development, the conditions are a lot stronger than for an addition, which I don't understand the discrepancy between those two. But again, it's one of those things where the preference is that we keep it as is, so that's how it's going to be. Other than that, just making sure I go through the list here. I think yeah, I think that kind of that reflects the bulk of the discussion from a few weeks ago and where we're at today. So yeah, I guess I don't know. I'm trying to think of I should have written the wording of the motion down, but I guess it's yeah, I think it's important that we adopt a Heritage Conservation District plan with the caveat that I don't think this is the best plan we could be adopting right now, but it's better to have a plan than the vacuum that we've tried to operate in the past. So yeah, with that, I guess I'd just like to thank Marie and Carol and the committee, because this is I think, Dorothy, you've been working on this before I've been on the committee, and I've been on the committee a while now, so it's got to be 10, 15 years in the making, eh? So it's great to have it almost at the finish line, and hopefully council approves it when it comes forward.
Chris, do you think we've gone as far as we can with revisions to the document then, as far as council's acceptance is concerned?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. It's funny because 2 meetings ago, when we brought revision, when I say we, because I think a lot of the things I'm bringing them to committee of the whole as the council representative of this committee. And from, my experience on the committee, there's a consensus, a majority consensus, at least, if not unanimous, behind a lot of the ideas. But it was really well received the first time that it came up, and then the last meeting, there was not the same enthusiasm for taking on amendments and updating the consultant's recommendations. So I would say at this point in time, and that meeting's gone viral, so there's no, I think we've done as much as we can do. And if there's a caveat in the motion that kind of says, it's not, it's not how we would have written it, but you know what I mean? We still think it should be supported. That would kind of reflect where I'm at with it. But yeah, I don't see us getting, I think it's at the finish line now, and it's a matter of, let's get it into practice and let's see what's working. And as Marie says, in a couple of years, when it's time to do the policy review, let's have stuff well documented so we can make the case. Or maybe some of the stuff we're worrying about isn't going to be as important when it's in practice. But it's just, I think the best thing we can do right now is to start implementing it and start using it, and because I don't see us getting any further going back and forth.
Okay, so do you want to add something formally to the motion then? You want to?
Sorry, the wording of the motion. I'm trying to pull it up here.
That the Municipal Heritage Committee recommends that council accept the Heritage Conservation District Plan dated January the 8th, 2026. But we can include conditions if we feel that that's appropriate. So we could say with the following conditions.
I don't know that the conditions are going to be approved. So maybe if it was just something where, yeah, I hate coming up with these on the fly. Yeah, if I thought there was conditions that would be that we'd have the ability to approve at a committee of the whole, I'd recommend them now. But I just, based on that last meeting, there was no appetite at the committee level to entertain further updates. So I guess it's just, if there was something to add to the wording that says, you know what I mean, it's not how we would write it, but we think it's important that it's written, then that would give a little bit of nuance to it. But you know, at the end of the day, we want it approved, and this motion does that. So I'm not. It's the end of the day, and my brain isn't working as well as it could be. So I don't have any recommendations or suggestions, I guess.
Jonathan has a comment.
Question and then a comment wrapped in, and then maybe something constructive will be the order. So the question is that, it's described, it's like CIP, and forgive me then, is CIP looked at sort of on an annual basis in terms of the regs and stuff? So, okay. So not like, so I don't know. Okay, so that's the CIP part. So you don't want to get into the habit of changing policies all the time. And so I get that too, but there's nothing in this thing that says you can't change it next week. You could, but that would be madness working wise. Okay, so that's good enough. So we can change it whenever we want. We can get at it there. And so then the question is, will we pay close attention to it and like make sure it doesn't fall off track, and maintain it as a priority? We know that this council, we've been working with them, or you've been working with them for 4 years. And so you know that heritage is somewhat important, and they'll listen to recommendations that this committee gives. The council is going to flip over. Does it make any difference if we include in the motion, like, let's make sure, like, we recommend that you look at it again in 1 year? If we added that to the motion, so that says that we're okay with how it stands. We also believe that it needs to be looked at continually. It's a growing document, so we'd like to have some teeth to recommend that it's looked at in a year. Hopefully there's instance cases through the year where we go through the process. Is that redundant to add that in there, or does that get across what we're trying to say, that we're fine with it now, but we want it to be looked at later? Does that help any of that, do you think?
Marie?
I think it's a good idea that we all keep a good eye on it as we get applications that we need to process against the HCD. Specifically, we need to keep track of what we're approving and not approving, because any alterations right now, the way it's written, come to MHC first. So in 2 or 3 years, or 1 or 2, whatever the committee decides, you know, we need to make a decision if there's some things that it's okay for staff to approve going forward, or continue to have everything going through MHC and council. So that's one thing, certainly, is, you know, the implementing this policy, will be keeping a close eye out.
Right, so it starts out that way, that everything
Yes.
comes to the MHC, which is a good thing.
It is.
And then, yeah, going forward, it may change.
Mm-hmm. And depending on how many applications we process, right, we'll see, you know, how it works out. If we have a lot processed in a year's time, maybe it does give us enough to go ahead and make some suggested changes. 2 or 3 years is what I've seen typical in the municipality prior.
Class?
Thanks, Marie. Just a question. You say we get applications. Do we get many?
Well, we don't know yet. We've processed 1 heritage alteration permit, but HCD is not implemented yet. So we.
I would suggest Jonathan's idea of reviewing it every so often, but every 4 years, when a new council is put in place, we would definitely review it.
Sure.
For sure. I don't think it's necessary to review it every year, but I would think when a new council gets put in place.
Well, in a year, that will have happened, so.
Yes.
In a year from now, yes.
That's why it's so wrapped up into this
Yeah.
motion. So not forever and ever, but I would recommend in this motion we could add in there this time. Anyone can ignore any of these recommendations, but I think that would signal sort of what we're trying to get, what Chris is trying to get across, and
Right.
I believe in that too.
Right. What do you think about that, Chris?
Yeah, I think that it's a good idea if it's already kind of written into the like if it's already something like the CIP that there's got to be a 5-year review or a 3-year review. Great. I think the big thing too is that we need to get the sign bylaw and maybe the property standards bylaw, like those bylaws that are referenced in the HCD, need to be updated as soon as possible so that it's working as one package. And you know what I mean. The other, they're not quite in sync as it stands. And maybe if we just like if we added to the beginning of the motion, in consideration of the direction given by a committee of the whole on January 5th, 2026, the MHC recommends that it gets approved, because that then acknowledges that they're putting the limiters on this. It's not on us, and I guess it just gives that little bit of nuance of we can make recommendations, but they don't necessarily need to be accepted.
All right, so we have the motion is amended then.
In consideration of the direction from council's recommendations, and I forget the date of the meeting, but I'll put it in
January 5th, I think he said.
January 5th. MHC recommend that council accept the HCD plan dated January 8th, 2026.
And shall we add with a review?
I'd like that. I'd like it to be, yeah, I think it's nice to be explicit that we'd like you to approve this, and we would also like you to continue to think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, it wouldn't have to be an annual review forever.
No,
but perhaps for the first time,
I'd say that
reviewing it in a year is not.
In a year, and then reviewing it going forward after every council changes.
Yeah.
I'd like that.
Who's reviewing what? Are you reviewing it?
Well, just that it's the idea that we're going to continue to look at it, and we'd like council to continue to think about it, and at least in a year we should see how it's going.
So you're saying MHC will review it?
Yeah, we're going to do it, and we're going to do our job, and then we'd like council to know that we're committed to continuing to look at it, and hopefully those folks also do the same. Does that make sense?
It does. It wasn't clear initially who the we was. So I was
Okay.
saying review what in a year. I was like, okay, anyone can review it. But if it was committee, then it makes sense. But it was more of the consultants, but they're not going to be here to review.
No, they've
No,
done
it'll
their
be the
jobs.
committee. Because if there's some part of it where it becomes obvious as a problem, then in our review we'll be able to pick that up and make a recommendation.
So in 1 year, 2 year, what's the time frame here?
1 year.
1 year now,
1 year.
and then upon new council going forward. I don't know how you want to word that.
Well, it'll be
Every
inevitable.
4 years thereafter.
Well, I don't know if you have to do that. It doesn't have to be every 4 years thereafter. There's nothing
No.
pinned in that. It's just
Okay.
look at it in another year. We're doing this, and we recommend that we keep on looking at it over
And
the
then
course
it'd
of
be
this year.
reviewed for amendments in 1 year.
Yeah,
from-
and we could call that a preliminary review.
Sort of like what we're doing, because it would have been interesting, like, to workshop it. Like, we seem to be under some type of time constraint here, but whatever. But like, it'd be interesting to like run a mock of like a facade was just updated on the west on the block there. What do we call that?
The Washburn.
The Washburn block. And a facade was just updated on that, and it would be interesting to workshop. Well, here's how it ended. What would have happened on the in between? And it's a very recent thing. So I think instances like that, I just want council to know that we want to look at how this process is running, and we want them to be aware of it too. Like, keep this on. It's not a one and done. We have to keep working with this document so it works for us. They mature, and that only happens when we work with them.
Right. Any more discussion? Chris?
Yeah, thanks. I guess just I'm thinking of the CIP where we get annual reports of how the projects are going or went, where the money went, and how it's achieving the goals. And I think something like that would be really good 1 year in for the HCD. But and then if we identify problems, then that can lead to a policy review. But I guess just the difference between a report and a review, if we're like, I don't want to have to rewrite it in a year or have to, because we just reviewed the CIP and that was a big process. So I just want to make sure we're talking about more of like a report and how it's working than an actual and if it's not working, then digging into the policy, just not necessarily digging into the policy. Is that correct?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, just a quick look at it.
One ensuring
Perfect.
that
It's not our intention to review the whole thing,
No.
is it? No,
No.
just to, yeah.
So can I just read what I have for Thanks. In consideration of direction from Council on January 5, 2026, the Municipal Heritage Committee recommends that the HCD plan dated January 8, 2026 be approved and reviewed in 1 year's time.
Okay?
Is that it? What you want? Okay.
All right, so let's vote on it then. It's been moved and seconded and we've discussed it, so all in favor of the motion? Chris puts his hand. Okay. Unanimous. Thank you. And the other item of business today is the Downtown Core Design Guidelines. Richard,
Okay.
which you have a copy of in your packet.
Most of you should have, or all of you.
Yeah.
So this is an update to the guidelines that was updated in 2023. So in light of the Heritage Conservation District, we wanted to create something that complemented the district plan when it's in place, not necessarily conflicting with it. So the guidelines are for buildings outside of the district. So with the plan in place in the future and the updated guidelines, they're working in tandem for any sort of development, essentially. So updated sections include the heritage about architecture in the downtown, because it reflects more information now that we have about different kind of architectural styles in downtown core.
Right. We asked for that, didn't we?
Yes, you pointed the exact, that was a comment last time,
Yes.
as well as just treatment for different aspects of buildings that are not designated but have a certain architectural detail or historic quality to it. I would look forward to your feedback. I'm not expecting it today. As soon as possible, it would be nice. Perhaps by Monday, if you have an opportunity to. The goal is that we get a draft in front of council in February by the 9th, so that they can just have a general understanding that this is updated. So I'm doing a really quick consultation, if that makes sense. But as you know, this is a living document, and if there are things that need to be addressed even after this meeting or after the Monday, I'm willing to hear it. But I'm willing to take cursory comments right now.
Monday is the
26th.
second. You want to talk about
Second, yeah.
this coming Monday?
we've got a couple cursory ones, I guess.
Sure.
Okay. Go ahead.
Jump off the. I haven't seen this before, right?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, I was making sure I didn't miss something. So like it, and I haven't seen the ones from 2020, the one for 2023 because I wasn't involved back then. Didn't really know it existed. So that's,
Well, like fresh eyes.
yeah, so it's super cool. So it's awesome to see this exactly like this. To be honest, I probably could have saved a lot of everyone's time had I known this existed,
Oh, really?
because I've been yammering on about a thing like this for the Heritage Conservation District. And so it's a tool that's in place that's front facing, that's inviting for folks to read, that, it feels like it's meant for people in the town to look at and to have in their hands and to learn about what they're supposed to do. So that's all wonderful. And that's what my first, run of it is. So so I think the audience is perfect.
Okay.
Because I didn't like that in the HCD, how it's 100 pages of policy.
Yeah, we really focus on narrowing it down and trying to create it as reader-friendly as possible. Now, that isn't always possible, but we did our best. There are things like rustification, which is a concept that people don't deal with because they're not architects, right? So there's certain terminology that may not be common to the layperson, but we did our best to make it as simple as possible.
And then the only other one that I would add, so I like the feel of the whole thing. There's going to be instances where you refer to things that don't exist in Smith Falls, and we'd like them to,
Yeah,
like green roofs, which I don't think we have any, I guess,
that I've seen.
but we're shooting for them, I guess, in there. So notwithstanding that, so I get when those ones are in there, but anytime, obviously, when, like on page 12, it seems like there could be a picture of Smith Falls instead of another place. But I suppose, like, when there's not pictures of Smith Falls, you've looked at that, and that's been a specific decision because you can't find that thing here.
Sometimes we can't, and sometimes it highlights other issues that we don't want to promote. Let's say the facade isn't to our liking, but it's a two-story building. I would love to put a two-story building on there, but if the facade isn't up to certain quality, it brings into question what we're promoting. And I don't want to highlight an issue unless the person who's in the photo has made amends to make that change, and maybe they haven't. So we don't want to highlight something that isn't great if we don't need to. So
Right.
we'll look for as many close local applications as we can. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If you can find better examples locally, I'm all ears. I'd love to get a different picture. So let me know.
Right.
It's good for me for now.
Yes.
Okay, Chris, do you want to?
Sure. Thanks, Richard. It's great to see this updated because, we've been working with that first version for a little bit, and it seems like a really good time with the HCD to come up with the next evolution of it. I guess I didn't realize it was on such a tight timeline. I was hoping we could kind of digest it tonight, and then I think our next meeting's on the 10th, right?
Let's say we bring this to council on the 9th, for example. We're still able to add any changes that come from this committee. It's just that council wants to see the comments before they get to the to council. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it's been a lot of, with the HCD stuff, it's been a lot of bandwidth, and I don't know that I've given this the read through that I'd want. I think some of the stuff that stands out is like the awning example. Generally, we've been trying to get away from those vinyl awnings to more like the Gemmels or the Old Smith Shoe style awning when it's been put down. When it comes to, I like a lot of the examples though, like the new infill development. That's a great, it's been a great addition to our downtown. The windows do a good job of showing how the space can be filled. Some of for the signage, like the figure 27, I don't know that that's the best example for when we've got the plastic, that plastic lettering with the high sheen. So I guess if we've, I don't know, has everybody else had I find with this stuff, after you read it a couple times, like stuff comes out. So
Sure.
I don't want to come up with the final comments after the first time reading it, but if there's a reason it needs to be pushed on the 9th, then I guess I'll have my opportunity to make more comments then anyway, but so it's up to the committee of whether or not I guess you're good to give it a go tonight.
I mean, you can defer until you have more time to read. Like, it's up to you guys if you want to wait until the next meeting to have formal comments. It's okay.
But we have not seen this until now.
No,
Have we?
I'm not looking for comments today. I'm just saying if you
Yeah, I
want
know,
to meet.
but Chris must have seen it before we did. Is the impression I'm getting? 'Cause he's
Well,
had
we've seen the
time-
early version.
Okay,
It's predecessor.
Yes.
right, all right.
Yeah, I would say this was something I was trying to get through at work today. It's just not something I've, sat down and had a good.
Right, well, we'll do that, Richard, and if we have, and we'll discuss it at our next meeting as well.
I love that.
So comments at the next MHC meeting, which
Well,
is,
we will attempt to send feedback to Richard by Monday.
No promises.
No promises, so that we will have it on our agenda for the next meeting.
What kind of feedback are you looking for, Richard?
So right now, what I'm looking for is readability. Do you understand the concepts? Just general readability, so that if it makes sense to you, and also when it relates to how it treats heritage, if the language could be more prescriptive or you'd want more examples, things like that. We're not looking to recreate the Heritage District plan, but we want to make sure that the guidelines are complementary to the plan in place so that we're not sort of at cross purposes. So if you find anything that I've not included or missed or something that could be elaborated on, this is the opportunity to. If you're trying to wonder why we're aiming for the 9th, it was just a date that we set without considering the timing for consultation and understanding that you guys have a stacked agenda already. So we were just trying to fit you guys in where it makes sense. But I understand if you need more time to digest the material to give forthcoming comments.
Marie?
The downtown core design guidelines are, and step in here anytime, Richard, this is the tool that staff would use to, for example, to assess CIP applications for properties that are outside of the HCD and that are not formally designated.
Correct.
So this would be for properties outside of the HCD and properties that are not designated.
Commercial and residential
Commercial
land
and
use,
residential.
so all properties.
And we also use it when we're looking at new infill developments or additions that require building permits and so forth, right?
Right, so if the conversation is with developers or landowners, the same kind of document comes up.
Sorry, I was lost in reading one of these figures. What was that about? Not to do with heritage, or what's that?
So this document is what we would use to make suggestions for infill development, but it's for properties outside of the Heritage Conservation District and for properties that are not
Outside of the Heritage Conservation District. But the entire Heritage Conservation District is downtown.
Not quite.
no,
Well, I know it's all that weird stuff that was
Yeah.
chopped off, and that's been a big thing
it's
of
an area within
discussion.
the
But
downtown core. The HCD is within the downtown core, so this document is for properties outside of the HCD and that are not designated.
I know, it's kind of,
but all of the examples are a bunch of designated buildings.
well, in terms of the materials and in terms of the interest, like, because we'll be treating it the same. It's just that in ACD, it's more prescriptive because you need, like, for example, a permit, right? So the process of determining what a high quality design is would be the similar process within ACD, just you have more prescriptive rules because of the plan in place.
Would we say like 80% of the downtown core overlaps with the
That's a good question.
with the Heritage Conservation District?
I would say 70-30, but close. It's a good
massive.
it's a massive, yeah.
There-
Like the core is pretty big. Like I'm not gonna deny that, but to speak about things outside the district, it was what was missing.
Okay, so that's what this map is about.
That's right.
Right, well, the
Okay, so this is for feedback later. Okay, this is
graph on page 24 of
Might need
the,
more time to-
apartment building, that's an example.
What's that?
The apartment building at 7 Maple Avenue, it's not within.
What
the-
page are you on?
Correct.
24.
Infill.
Correct.
It's infill, but it's not within the HCD, but it's within the downtown. So there's an example.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of interestingly wrapped reminder around the fact that the district and the downtown core is still the downtown core with the
That's
district
bigger.
inside. For example, Giant Tiger property on waterfronts, it wouldn't be part of the district, but it's part of downtown waterfronts.
Right.
So treatment with that for those things would be slightly different.
And all of Chambers on the other side of Market Street is all,
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
I see what you. Yeah. Okay.
What's interesting though is that some of the
Organic
buildings that we want to protect are also in the district, so there is the overlap.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Move
Mhm.
on right now.
Okay, thank you, Richard.
You're welcome. I'll look forward to feedback at some point.
Okay, do we have any project updates? No? Roundtable, do we have anything for roundtable? Class does, I think.
Yeah, a friend of mine dropped off a whole bunch of books. I don't know if they're of any interest to us or not. I looked, who's who in the town of Smith Falls in 1924. Have you seen that book?
I've seen that in the library.
Did you?
I don't know if it was that year, but they do,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was the one. And then Joshua Bates, there's a book about him. I don't know if we have that or, he's the man that built the Heritage House.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have information about him? Do we want more information about him?
Well, I just talked to Heritage House.
The committee, ourselves,
Yeah.
we don't keep books, but we should give those to the library or the Heritage House though. They might have a
Yeah,
direction.
right.
We don't hold objects, right? As a
No,
committee.
No, we don't, no.
No,
With
and
no
then
hard
there was,
capital items.
this is a modern thing, was the whole redevelopment of where Frosted Woods used to be. That whole plan.
It's not a heritage area anyway.
No. It should be, but it's not.
Should be, yeah.
Anyway, it was just stuff that he was going through, and he knew that I was on this committee and gave it to me. Some of them I gave to the archives because it has to do with Latter
Thanks,
County.
Richard.
Bye, Richard.
There's a lot of, well, a whole newspaper article on Montague Township, what it was like back in the 1800s and so on. So he was cleaning out his closet. He thought he'd dump it all off on me. Thanks a lot.
Well, the Heritage House may very well be interested.
Maybe,
in
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Maybe then.
But other
Anything,
than that, no, I don't have anything.
anything else for roundtable? Marie?
Just quick, I wanted to let you know in your packages, I included some information from Toronto that they send out to property owners of heritage designated properties regarding insurance. There's some insurance there from the National Heritage Program for homeowners if they're looking to insure their heritage properties. It's through marshes. Anyway, there's information there, and I thought maybe later we could take a look at something like that if you guys get questions from property owners, but something we can also use in our toolkit when we're talking to properties of interest listed property owners.
Right.
Is there anyone around locally that has insurance policies with heritage buildings? You don't know.
I don't know. Well, our designated properties, properties that are already designated, they've got insurance somewhere, somehow. But I haven't talked to any of them.
Okay, well, if that's it for the formal meeting, the next meeting is soon, Tuesday, February the 10th.
Yeah.
So, hope to see everybody there. And could we have a motion to adjourn the meeting then, please? Class? And a seconder, Jonathan? And Chris? All in favor of
Oh, I didn't
adjournment?
Chris to make a chance to make a motion. Sorry, Chris.
Okay.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks. I'll let tech